I've painted another sheet of plexiglass with some flowers, and I'm going to print it to show you how that works. These are these flowers. Oh my goodness, it's like 2 weeks later. And they're still, you know, still putting out lots of beautiful color, eh? Over here at the sink I have my paper soaking in water. And the water's looking a bit murky. That's because I'm using the back of a painting that I didn't feel was being successful. Well, for this part I thought was successful, but I wound up using too many colors. So as soon as that's soaked in warm water about 10 minutes, I'll hold up the corner, I'll drip it, and I'll press it gently between 2 pieces of clean newsprint to kind of blot it, and just to get that super shine off it. Because if the paper's too wet, then it will reactivate my my paint, and my paint will run too much. So it's, you know, it's all a process of experimenting. So I have my piece of paper here, and recycled newsprint. This was packing paper that we used for other things, and I'll just kind of give it a little rub there, and I don't see any shine on it. I just see a really bad fingerprint that I hope is covered by the paint. So this is the really, really fun part, is trying to line up the paper. Of course, there are scientific ways of doing this, but I'm just going to... Okay, I'll put my hand in the middle, push it out, and now look around desperately for the spoon that I should have right here, and wonder where the heck I put it. Yes, it's part of the excitement. So I take my spoon here, and I put my fingers inside the bowl of the spoon to give it good weight. And I start from the center, and I just do a circular motion all the way out. Now this piece of plexiglass that I'm using is pretty large. The other, usually I use small pieces. I don't usually use one this big, but I thought, what the heck? I've got it. Why not try? And I'll just show you in the corner here. You can see how it's going to be picking up. Or not. Okay, so I've rubbed it all over, and I've made an effort to kind of score the edge so that it does have that reinforced print look. Now let's see. There we go. Hey, not bad, eh? Now I'm liking that. I'm thinking it might need some more definition in places, so I might go, now when it's dry, over it with perhaps with some pen and ink. But it's looking pretty good. And I don't know if you can tell, but there are all kinds of textures on here of the brush stroke. And meanwhile, here is what's left on my plate. Not very much, eh? Now I had coated this is plexiglass. The top is lightly sanded, and then I coated it with dishwashing liquid because that helps the paint to adhere better. So I wanted to end with a couple of tips for you. It's best to use watercolor paint from a tube, because the thicker the paint goes on the plexiglass, the better your impression is going to be. You should also use a heavy paper for printing, If you go to an art supply store, ask for printmaking paper or watercolor paper. And finally, make sure that your painting on the plexiglass is bone dry before you attempt to print it. Otherwise, it will just smear. Good luck with this, and visit me at Green Willow Studio for more monoprinting tutorials.